All right, I want to talk about our speakers, and Pat already gave you some background in the CAYCE Tarsia program. What I'd like you to remember all is this sentence I'm about to say. If someone asks you, what is this program about? Here is the quick answer. It is a mentored program in spiritual growth and emotional healing. So what is this new program all about, guys? It is a mentored program in spiritual growth and emotional healing. That's the easy way to answer that question. A mentored program in spiritual growth and emotional healing. CAYCE, Tarsia's dream, was to really perhaps have more of the healing technologies that were going on during EDGAR CAYCE's time as Rata in ancient Egypt. And so this is some of that included as well. It'll be a program that works with your spiritual growth, your emotional healing. It'll draw upon all the resources we have in the spa. It'll last about a year. And the people who are going to do this program for us are Eileen Malo and Lynn Sparrow Christy. Both of these individuals have decades, many decades, of experience with this work. Both individuals have been speakers and teachers for this work. Both individuals have actually been on the board as well. Eileen possesses an extensive background in health administration. She's also got advanced training in coaching and spiritual mentorship. Lynn has an extensive background in one-on-one spiritual mentorship, coaching, personal transformation, and hypnotherapy. We're honored and very excited about what's going to happen. So here for the first time, and we're actually going to send this tape to CAYCE, Eileen and Lynn are going to talk about the program, its timetable, and launch. Come on down.
We'll have to wobble down because, you know, we've had decades and decades. He makes us sound so old. Well, I guess we are old. I've retired from so many jobs, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. So I've told somebody yesterday this is my 6th career. So Kevin gave you a nice brief introduction about who we are, so I don't think we need to do that anymore. You've probably seen our faces around over the years. Over the past 40 years, I've actually been a member of ARE for almost 40 years. And Lynn, too, has been.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be a part of this program. In fact, yesterday was the 39th anniversary of the day I packed up my little convertible and moved to Virginia Beach. And,
yeah.
and I was involved with the work even longer than that, but I'm not going to get into years. I've got the hair to prove how many decades it's been.
And my hairstylist helps me to stay younger. So even though I have some gray, she says it's time you put some gray in your hair. So we're letting some gray stay in. So we want to talk to you a little bit about what this program is about and what we want to do, because we're really super excited about it. And it gives us an opportunity as coaches and as spiritual mentors to be able to really help lead people and grow people through something that we've experienced ourselves. And as coaches and spiritual mentors, we see many different types of people. And they're at many different stages in their lives, but they seem to all have a certain thread that connected them through all the stories that we see. And this thread was a similarity that they all had, that they wanted to grow. They wanted to be more. They wanted to go deeper. But for some reason, they were having difficulty moving forward on their own. And I think the best way to probably illustrate this is to tell you 3 of their stories. Richard was a client of mine a couple years ago who had been on the spiritual path for many, many years. He had gone through a lot of alternative therapies, both physical, mental, emotional, so he was really familiar with a lot of things. He was in a deep spiritual meditative practice continually, and he participated in a lot of conferences and was really aware of what was going on. But when he came to me, I said, well, Richard, what do you want to get out of coaching and mentoring? What is it that you expect? And he said, you know, something's missing. I don't know what it is, but I'm stuck, and I want to go deeper. So I'd really like you to help me figure out where I'm stuck and how I can go deeper.
And when I think about the journey that Eileen and I are describing, I think of my client, Mary. Mary was someone who had a deep sense of spiritual purpose in her life, and yet somehow things were not working out all that well. Isn't that amazing how that can happen? And she had a range of psychic experiences that went back to her childhood, and as an adult, she had quite a bit of intuitive ability. She had a deep sense of connection to spirit, but despite that, quite a bit of the time she was profoundly unhappy and unfulfilled. When I first saw her, she had just been through yet another relationship breakup, and she could not figure out why her spiritual beliefs were not manifesting in her life in the way that she would have been led to expect from everything she'd been reading and studying. And Mary was a classic case of what is called spiritual bypassing. And that is thinking that you can spiritualize away your unhealed wounds and your unmet growth needs. Maybe if I just meditate a little bit more, maybe if I just read another book, maybe if I just do a better job. And the truth is that when one is spiritual bypassing, it's not until we're able to go back and process the unhealed wounds, not only from earlier in this lifetime, but often that can go back over the eons and address our unmet growth needs, that we can blossom and move forward spiritually in the way that we know that we can. So that's one part, a huge part of what this program is about.
Emotional release, that's what we mean by emotional release. Getting in touch with your patterns, getting in touch with what your soul was trying to teach you, the karma that perhaps you have held for years and years and perhaps lifetimes, and figuring out what those were, letting them go and moving forward on them, because your identity is switching from that pattern to a deeper connection of yourself, your real self. And finally, there's a story that I like to tell about Lisa, who was from a very small town in rural Pennsylvania. Lisa has been an ARE member for a long time and also a member of a study group for a long time. But her study group disbanded, and she, maybe about 4 years before, she contacted me for spiritual mentoring. And she said, you know, I just feel so alone. I feel like I'm here and nobody else knows where I'm going, and there isn't anybody to challenge me, to question where I'm at, and I feel like I want to go be with somebody. I want to be intimate. And I've tried the internet programs that are available, but I just don't feel that connection. I just don't feel energetically connected, and I don't feel they care about me personally. So what I want to do is be able to connect more with somebody who can actually challenge my growth, even if it's a long distance call. I want to make sure that that can happen. So one day, Lynn and I were talking, and we were talking about the different clients that we see and this spiritual thread that's connecting them, and also about our own spiritual growth and programs that have helped us in our long time of being...
I'm getting tired, Eileen.
of being on this path. And I said, you know, one of the things that's always helped me is working with a small group of people who are dedicated to the same thing that I am, who are committed to their spiritual growth, to their expansion of consciousness. And I would really, you know, over a short period of time. I didn't want it to last forever and ever and ever, because I needed time alone as well to process what was going on. But I needed a group there to help me and to support me with that.
And I had found that the evolutionary approach was absolutely revolutionary in its impact on my own path. Discovering that our own growth is driven by the same thing that has been the drive behind the Big Bang and all of cosmic evolution that has unfolded since that time, and that consciousness, not just our own consciousness, but consciousness itself is the leading edge of evolution, put everything in a whole new light. It gives a new perspective on not only what our potential is as these harbingers of the newer developments of evolution, but it also gives us a better understanding of human weaknesses. I mean, after all, you know, we share 50% of our DNA with a banana. So when we don't fully live up to our spiritual ideals, maybe the evolutionary story and that ongoing growth beyond previous limitations is a huge contributing factor. I know it was and continues to be for me in giving me new tools, new approaches for my own growth and my own healing work.
So we thought, well, if we're going through this process, perhaps there's other ARE members who want the same similar process and need the same similar support structure around them to be able to grow. And we thought, well, if there are, what would a program like this look like? What might we, in our own minds, think a program might look like that could help people achieve this emotional release and this deeper connection to oneness? And so I'm going to ask you to imagine if someone started who was searching, like a Richard, a Mary, a Lisa, or maybe even someone like you, someone who was on the path that's committed to deep growth and expansion.
And we love the image of the Nautilus to represent the person who would be drawn to this program because of its wonderful spiraling, ever-growing, upward, outward, more expansive form. You notice it starts from a very small, intercontracted little space, but that sea creature continually reaches a point where, as it grows, the calcified walls of its chamber are too restrictive, and it has to break through, make a new chamber that's large enough to accommodate it, and then the process begins again. In other words, we're never done. You know, back when I was 16 and going to my first study group and reading my first CAYCE books, I thought I was going to be done, certainly by now. But the truth is, we get to meet the same life themes and lessons at ever more expansive levels of understanding, ever bigger contexts in our life. And like that Nautilus, the growing individual is continually spiraling upward, outward, and getting beyond that inner contraction that represents all of the things that we have dragged with us from the past.
So you're that Nautilus, perhaps, and you are there waiting, wondering, wanting to get closer, wanting to be deeper, and we're able to create around you a sacred space that has 4 arms that will embrace you throughout your journey and accompany you. These arms will accompany you through healing. The first arm that embraces you are monthly individual coaching sessions. These sessions begin with an extensive personalized assessment of where you are right now in your life, spiritually, and where you think you need to go. It will identify your strengths, your blocks, your unhealed wounds, and then together, the coach and you will tailor an experience according to what you need over this 12-month purpose, this 12-month statement, this 12-month journey to help you maintain focus, clarity, and direction along your path. And you will choose the process and determine the work, and also which life practices you want to embody during this 12-month period.
Okay. So then imagine that during this same 12-month period, you could come to a place where the best body, mind, spirit therapies were available to you, where you had the support of fellow travelers who were undergoing their own journey alongside you. You could meet with your coaches in a retreat-like setting, process your experiences in a homey atmosphere so that you could have an intensive on-site experience here at Virginia Beach with carrying forward this work that you're undergoing. So often when people are out in the various places all over the country or the world, they will feel lost as to how to find the right resources to help them grow. I know one of the calls that I have gotten so many times over the years is somebody off in what one of my old friends used to call East Cupcake saying, can you tell me someone who's a really good hypnosis regression therapist in my area? And I always have to draw a blank. So by allowing people to come here to Virginia Beach as a group, meet in a small, homey setting, process their experiences, discuss their dreams, support one another, meet with their coaches, we provide that on-site intensive as another very important part of this program.
And then what if you were joined on this exploration journey with a small group of other people who were also similarly yearning for this deep connection? So imagine yourself connected not only energetically, but also meeting with them on a monthly basis through the wonders of technology. The monthly sessions could be a continuation of what you started here in Virginia Beach on the retreat, a deeper sense of who you are from your monthly coaching sessions, but you have the support of a group, and a group that we call Community of Practice Group. And this group experience would not only give you the energy and the questioning and the reflection of other people in the group, but also something magical happens with the group. And those of you who have done group work knows this. Some other energy enters the room. I can't say what it is, but I get chills when I think about it because you can't see it, it just happens. And it helps to heal. It helps to heal the person, it helps to heal the group, and they support each other. And somebody always has your back. And that is also the third arm that's surrounding you and embracing you on this 12-month journey.
And I think another aspect of that is the consciousness that is growing toward greater and greater ability to have what is sometimes called unity consciousness, sometimes it's called we space, where we're no longer encapsulated in our own little world, but we are able to fluidly enter a space where consciousness truly becomes one. That can only happen in a group. We cannot make that happen sitting meditating by ourselves, no matter how much our heart might be there. So this creates a great opportunity to build that we space, that unity consciousness. So then the final container, the final layer of this container, is the opportunity to keep that connection strong, to keep it fed, nurtured, and alive all year long through the wonders, again, of the web, a meeting in what I kind of think of as a virtual retreat house, a web space specifically for this group, where there will be supportive materials, be it good articles, and it can be very spontaneous. Eileen or I might read something that is just, oh, this is great, we want them to see this. We put it up, they get it.
We send it to each other now.
We do that back and forth with each other already. Videos, audios, ideas for personal work. Hey, maybe you guys might want to try doing this for a while. The opportunity for interaction. Keeping that retreat center fully active. You know, we've all probably had the experience of the conference high where we learn so much and we're so enthused, but when we go home, we can lose the momentum. This is a way to keep that momentum between the on-site sessions going and going strong, and it gives people the best of the coming together for live conferencing, because nothing is quite the same as meeting face-to-face, with all of the strengths of do it at home. If you want to do it in your PJs at 2 in the morning, great, because it will be there on the web, putting it all together and through the whole time staying connected to your coaches as well as the rest of the group.
So this journey to wholeness and integrative growth, you have the strengths of conference experiences combined with the strengths of at-home experiences, telephonic and internet connection, plus you have a personalized selection of body, mind, spirit therapies, and a 12 months of individual coaching. We're calling this the journey to wholeness and integrative growth. It's been through a variety of names. That's why I struggle with it. But Mr. Tedeschi helped us come up with this last name.
And we love the journey to wholeness and integrative growth, at least in part, because it lends itself to the acronym WING.
Can you see that? Wholeness and integrative growth.
So it's a process of discovery and release and connection that invites the participants to take wing.
You know, the past 4 weeks, I have been participating in a edX course online for free that's being run by Oda Sharma from MIT, who wrote Theory U. I don't know if any of you have ever read Theory U. It's quite interesting. And he has been joined in this free online course with 40,000 people all over the world for 6 weeks. And what he's teaching them to do is meditate. I mean, you can give them all the fancy scientific words that you want, but what he's teaching people to do is meditate and to move into a new space, to take flight into a presence. He calls it presencing. Peter Senge called it presencing. He is a colleague of Otto's at MIT. And they presence by connecting, by letting go of old patterns, which he calls downloading, letting it go and opening yourself to universal forces, and then moving into the future, which is the other part of the you, which is where that came from. So you're going from wherever you are, down through yourself, releasing and moving up to wherever your soul was leading you. And we don't know where that is. And that's okay. You'll find out on the journey. So are there any questions we can answer for you? Yeah. Okay. She's asking, how is this tied into the wonderful spiritual center that Cassie, who we're all very thankful for, is, how is this involved with this? How is it tied in? And Pat wants to answer that.
Actually, I just got this.
Well, I thought
I'm
you want,
sorry.
I can answer that.
Yeah, please do. I just picked this up so I can microphone the next question so that it's recorded.
Oh,
They
I
can
thought
hear the
you got
question.
it to answer
No,
it.
it's all you.
Yes, it was actually Cassie's vision to have this happen. Cassie is a remarkable, remarkable person who has been through a lot in her lifetime and has experienced personally a lot of this desire to be more. And her release that she's gone through and the pain that she suffered as she went through it, it motivated her to be able to provide a place where people could go who wouldn't have to search like she did, and find a place where they could be safely led as they go through this journey. So yes, it's her generosity and her vision that is making this possible. And it will be the first program under the center.
Will it be here on site?
Those times that the question was, will it be here on site? It's designed to be both here on site for the times when the group comes together for those intensives where they do body, mind, spirit therapies, which of course we have state-of-the-art versions of here on campus, and plus the small group processing. We'll be using the Gibbons House to meet as a group in a homey setting. But then the rest, so that they're not left on their own, we have all these other things going on through the rest of the year, yes.
And your general timeline. Hello? General timeline and number of people or participants?
We are hoping to start in January of 2016, along with James' leadership program. 2 of us will be inaugurating off together as new areas, and it will last from January through December of that year. And what did you ask? Oh, how many people? We're looking for a small group, perhaps 12 to 15.
There'll be lots of individual attention. I think this is one of the key things. You're not just a face in the crowd. Eileen and I have both had wonderful experiences with internet things with 30,000 people from all over the world, and they're wonderful. But try to get some personal help from the facilitators in a situation like that. Each person will have that one-on-one contact on an ongoing basis.
What is the cost?
We don't know, Marge.
We are still in the development stage. This is all very new. Here we are. It's early February, and we are still mapping all of that out.
We'll figure it out.
We have to kind of look at all of the angles to get that part. It will not be a budget program. Let's put it that way.
What does that mean?
Well, I'm saying it won't be cheap.
Oh,
I mean, think about it. If you had to pay a coach to meet with you regularly every month, and you had to pay for all of the therapies that the person might have and all of the on-site but wait, there's more. If you call right away, no. But there are so many layers to this. That's all part of what we'll go into figuring. Eileen and I do that joke a lot of times when we're talking about it.
we say, yeah, we'll give you a slicer so that'll slice so thin your mother-in-law will never come back. Remember that commercial? Peter, did you have a question?
He's going to do it later, he said. But
Oh, okay.
do you want it?
The MIT meditation, what's the site?
It's called edx.com, edx.com, and it's ULab. You'll see it on one of the things. We're 4 weeks into the program, but you probably could still join. Anyone else? Yeah.
I encourage you I encourage you to charge a premium price.
Well, Kevin is also encouraging us to do that, only because he wants to cover our costs. And we know that some of Cassie's generous donation might offset some of these costs for people who can't afford it, but it will be an expensive program. And that's not to discourage anybody from going through that, because we'll find a way. We'll find a way. If you really want to go, we'll find a way. But it's an important part that I think we're all on. It's a path that is something that is so close to both of our hearts that it just manifests. Can I tell a story of how this manifested synchronistically? We talk about how the universe comes together. And you know, I've created many things in my lifetime and in my career. I've built many healthcare facilities. And I've done a lot of things, but I've never seen anything come together as easy as this has. And so anytime you disbelieve that your thought process creates your reality when in line with your ideals with other people, this will give you the energy to believe it. Cassie had called Pat, and you heard the first part of the story. Kevin and I have been friends for many, many years, and we often have lunch together. And I was asking him, because I was a former board member, how are things going? Are we making budget? You know, stupid financial questions that only a former board member and administrator would care about. And he said, well, we really need to find programs that will give us revenue, more revenue. We've got a beautiful site here. It's just that we need more revenue in. And I said, well, you know, Kevin, I have been incubating this program in my mind for years now, but I never felt it was the right time to bring it up. But I think it's perfect for ARE because, you know, I've been on this search for a long time, and I know all of our members have as well. So I told him about this program that I wanted to do, and he said, you know, I have a donor in California that has a similar interest. Maybe we can match you two up. And I thought, what I remember, I talked to Pat about this in June. We had gone out to lunch, and I said, Pat, I want to do this program, but what scares me is there's not enough, it's too expensive, and I can't figure out a way to make it cheaper. So I don't know how I could talk Kevin into making this program just try to see if we could work, because it's going to be an expensive program to begin to develop. So along comes Cassie. Along comes Cassie. And Kevin and I have lunch. The universe helps us. And that is how you manifest, right? So whatever disbelief I ever had, I aligned it with my ideal, with my passion, with Cassie's passion, with Lynn's passion, with ARE's passion. And all of them came together in presencing to create the future.
And the other piece of that is that Eileen and I had been meeting once a week for a few months, not really knowing why we were doing it, other than that we were both hungry for someone else who was interested in this model of expansive growth, and we would be listening to audios and talking about them and our own growth experiences, and it was almost like we had started preparing before we knew.
The energies got us together.
Yep.
The energies pulled it.
Are you thinking of just running one program or
No.
simultaneously?
We're only doing one program next year because it's an experiment. You know, it's the experiential First Start program, and we want to give it every piece of attention that we have to make sure that if we need to fine-tune some things, we can. But once that one goes, and we have down what we need to do and where the rough spots will be and the easier spots will be, we'll be able to do probably simultaneous programs. I mean, there's all kinds of things. I mean, the information from the universe is coming in so fast, sometimes I just kind of say, I'm on overload, shut up, I can't take anymore. But I'm getting a lot of possibilities.
And the reason it won't be launching until 2016 is that truly it will take all of this year to get it all clearly planned out, to prepare how to present it, to get the word out, to get applications in, to do the screening process. It will take the full year just to answer all of the questions that we're still working with getting resolved.
Okay, I think that's it.